started.
Yeah, Mr. Lucky again. Okay. D4, D5. E3. So he could be playing a stonewall attack or a Colle system. Let's play with C5, put a little pressure on the center. This is not a sacrifice. I intend to get the pawn back if he takes it with like a queen move. Let's see. So should I get the bishop outside the pawn chain? I could play bishop to G4, I think. Hits the queen. He can block with the knight or the pawn, but it gives my bishop a square to go to, and it gets it over here on the king side. This is frequently a setup for some kind of king side attack, either with the Colle system or with the stonewall attack. But with the knight in front, this would be more like a Colle system. Okay, and now I can play E6, and I can take back that pawn directly if I want to. If he takes on C5. Okay, get my knight out. He pins the knight. I guess that means he's going to try and put some pressure on it, maybe with knight to E4. Knight to E4 hits my bishop, hits the knight. So I should probably defend the knight in advance. And I guess queen C2 is a good way to defend that knight. And if he goes here, I will just retreat my bishop to H5 because I don't want to trade it for that knight at this point. So he puts more pressure on the knight. I can keep defending it. Could trade here first. Or, you know what I could do? Can I do that? Yeah, it's not so easy. I was going to say maybe I could play knight to E7, but he has this little trick here with the queen there. He can take the c-pawn and attack my loose bishop and retreat the bishop, and maybe holds on to that pawn. So maybe it's a way to win a pawn. Okay, so let's take off the knight, get my bishop out of trouble. And then I can play knight to E7. That unpins my knight, and if his knight tries to go to E5, then I can just take it. And shortly I will play bishop E7 and castles, or bishop to D6 and castles. They're both likely squares. I can't really play, I mean I can. A6 doesn't do anything until after I've castled because the rook is undefended on A8, so I'm not really threatening to take the bishop. But after I move my bishop and then I castle, then my rook will be protected and I can play A6 and chase his bishop away. So let's see, what has white accomplished? White has gotten the bishop pair, and so maybe that's worth something, but he has kind of a cramped position here still. So he takes, let's go like this. And he goes there. I guess this doesn't lose a pawn because I have to keep my queen here to defend the c-pawn. But on the other hand, let's see, he's given up the bishop pair now by those exchanges, and he's created a doubled pawn for himself. He's got the worst bishop here, but he can liberate with E5. Yeah, he can play E4 rather. I take and his queen takes. See, is there a way for me to stop e4? That would be interesting. If I could do it. But I don't see a way to do it. Let's see, if I try f5, he just takes en passant. Doesn't look like that's helping much. So let's just castle. And you know, I can't really leave off the defense of the c-pawn. I have to hold on to that. But after castling, maybe I can play rook c8, and then I can threaten to take the e-pawn. So he defends the e-pawn now. Let's castle here. So maybe the rook should go to e8 instead of, or d8 instead of c8. Rook d8 to think about playing e5. If I play, sorry, d4. If I play d4 immediately, he takes, I take, he takes, and yeah, it's not so great. Maybe in a couple of steps. First, queen here. Put this queen on an interesting diagonal looking at his king. Then bring a rook to the d file and then push that pawn forward. This is a way to discourage him from playing e4 because I can push this pawn forward with check. It's not a big deal, I guess. He gets off the diagonal anyway. Okay, so if I play d4 now, he takes, I take, he takes, and he gets to hold on to that because he's got his queen on it. So let's bring a rook over here. My queen is also looking at his b pawn, so I'm kind of keeping him tied down that way. Let's see, he can counter my rook d8 with rook d1. Nothing wrong with that move. And if he goes that way, then maybe I'll play f6 and try and weaken this pawn again. Okay, so Mr. Lucky is pausing to think here. He went to e1, which means I can play d4. He doesn't have to take, I guess that's the point. Rook e1, go d4, maybe he plays c4. Let's start with f6 here. This might help open up some lines for my bishop, or give it some roll maybe. I don't want to push that d pawn forward until it really accomplishes something. Yeah, so taking at that, I thought that was good for me. But maybe he didn't want to allow me to take. If I take, then he's got these doubled e pawns, which aren't looking very attractive. So now I push, he pushes. Okay, so he just pushes immediately. So if I go e4 here, e5, he takes, I take, that seems good. He doesn't take, he pushes. Then I'll play, if he takes, I'll take back. If he pushes here, then I will play d4 at that point. And at least I'll have a passed pawn if he plays c4. And if he takes, I'll take back. You know what he could do? He could take, I take with the bishop, and then he takes here, and that hits my bishop. Yeah, it's a tempo on the bishop. Let's see, I would have to try something tricky like queen to c7, attacking his pawn to gain some time and defend my bishop before taking back. Okay, he didn't go that way, so let's push forward then, right? So pawn takes, bishop takes should be okay. Pawn takes. I would take with the c pawn to undouble my pawns. That should be good. If he pushes forward, that's probably the okay, he just pushed forward with the f pawn. Okay, what to do here? He just doesn't want to undouble my pawns, I guess. So I can keep pushing though. Create this protected passed pawn here. Might be very handy in the endgame. And maybe I can find some way to put pressure on his e-pawn there. He's got it defended by a rook. Now let's just hold on to my pawn for a minute. You know, I should have taken his queen. Oh, that's it. He wasn't it wasn't undefended, and it was blocked by my pawn. So it wasn't until I pushed the pawn forward that his queen was loose. Okay, so he brings his bishop there. I see, and he's cleverly defended the b pawn with his queen there on the second rank. Let's keep pushing the pawns over here on the queen side. If I try a5, a4, a3, I can maybe break through over here. And he's going to try and blockade that pawn, yeah. Anyway, just getting this pawn out of the sight of the queen and the bishop would be useful. Then I'm not tied up trying to defend it. And let's see, what's the best way to proceed here? If I push this pawn forward, I'm looking at the here, I'll go here first. I want to push this pawn forward. Oh, he can still take it. And then I want to take his e-pawn. But I want to try and do it in a way where I don't lose the c-pawn, and then I don't get the e-pawn because he's going to... okay, I'm going to drop back. This will help a little bit. There he goes. He's just blockading there. Okay. But doesn't this cause trouble for him? Maybe not. I was going to say I could bring the queen up here to attack his bishop, but my bishop is loose. If I take first and then bring the queen up here, where is his queen going? Come in here to that square or that square, or I could retreat. Still, his king is kind of open on this light squared diagonal, so I still want to try and break through on e4 here. So queen this way, I think it like protects everything, and I can chase his queen with my rooks. Of course, he could just trade queens, but this endgame should be all right for me. I can pile up on the B file here if nothing else. Yes, the queen went there. Let's continue to harass the queen. See how it plans to get out of there. It plans to check, okay. Queen has a check. Still not easy for the queen to get out of this area of the board. It's kind of clogged up with his pawns and my pawns. Yeah, so let's attack the queen. If he takes, that's how he gets out. He takes here with check and I take back. If he pushes, I take the queen, and he can't queen because I've got it covered. But he can take. Now he has to save his queen. And let's see, what should I do here? I think that seizing the F file looks good.
Check.
Okay, I have rook to f4 is one idea. And rook to g8. And this pawn is protected, but starting with rook to f4 maybe. Okay, so rook to f8 or rook to g8, that's the question. If I go rook g8, where's the queen going? It can go here to the h file. It can come in here to e7. I could start with this move, protecting e7, and then I could play rook g8, and then the queen has nowhere great to go, right? Here. Covered this diagonal. Yeah, he can go there. But where is he going from there? He can go to there, that's where he can go. Okay, so now I bring my queen in here. Getting ready to triple on the F file. Let's see, what's the time? Minute 25 to minute 7. Well, we're both using our time. Mr. Lucky, I don't think he's entirely lucky. I think he's playing pretty well. So the check there doesn't work. But I can triple. Now, rook here check, rook takes, rook here check, queen takes, check, king takes. It still doesn't work. He's got that square covered. Maybe I can pile up on I want to get to this diagonal, right? This light square diagonal, looking at his king and looking at the e-pawn. Returning to the e-pawn. If he pushes this pawn forward, I can play rook to g6. I think that should be worth something. Could just play rook to f3 here now. Rook f3, where's the queen going? Queen goes back. He's blocked the square for the queen to go forward. If the queen takes, and I take, and it's defended. So the queen has to go back, and then I have this check. I think this is winning. Or not. He pinned that rook. I did not see that. Yeah, I left off defense of that pawn. Okay, so I need to unpin quickly, because otherwise he's going to win that pinned rook. He's got another check there.
Check. Check.
Don't think he can make any progress here. That's a repetition.
Check. Check.
Just have to make sure I don't run out of time while we're repeating. Okay, that's twice.
Check.
I didn't want to repeat again. He wanted to take the pawn. Okay, so now I have the check here.
Check.
This should be good for something.
Check.
So I'm threatening a mate in two. Check here, rook there is mate. It's too bad I didn't have another check to do it all but check, but I didn't see it, and I have to make sure I make all the moves within the time control here. He can't give me a check here. Oh, that's interesting. I was thinking he would just start checking me again, but he doesn't have a check. So this is
check.
A mate, isn't it?
Checkmate.
Okay, well, nice game. He should have gone for the draw by repetition, I guess. Anyway, I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.